kapag ginawa natin yung will ng Lord, lalo-lalo na ngayong araw nito, expect blessings from God.
Panginoong Jesus, Diyos na may gawa ng langit at lupa. Salamat po.
Pagpapala sa lahat at pag-ubuhay na tapat sa Diyos. Amen! Sa pagpalakpak na malakas.
Bag na album sa kayuan sa Radiologic representing the summer capital of the Philippines, TopRank Valley. Ako sa Lady Roa, sa Philippines, sa Queen City of the South, TopRank Cebu!
Congratulations, our new Mr. TopRank Radtech, TopRank Cebu, Dr. AJ Rojas.
Congratulations to our Miss TopRank Radtech from
Miss TopRank International Corporate Entrepreneur. Ladies and gentlemen, TopRankers, your new Mr. and Miss TopRank Radtech. Save your eyes from your tears.
The world is full of successful failures. Many of the most people overcome setbacks and disappointments to reach the top. Be tenacious, an old-fashioned alchemist who turned metal into gold. Saturday is a big day. Don't lose your chance. Live that day as if it were your last. Your time is limited. Do not waste it living someone else's life. Know what you want in life. Define your own success and stop at nothing to achieve it. You got a dream, you gotta protect it. You want something, go get it, period.
Everybody, bodies are donuts!
pagdadaanan nyo. Saksi kami sa bawat puyat pagod na dinaanan ninyo para makuha yung bawat lisensya nyo. Nagawa natin ipasa ang board exam. Though wala tayong top-notchers, okay lang yun. At least, we fought a good fight of faith. Pag-celebrate lang naman ay hindi naka-rely kung ilan yung pumasa, kung ilan yung nag-top, kundi kung ilan yung gumanda ang buhay at gaganda pa ang buhay dahil sa lisensya natanggap ninyo mula doon sa mga pinaghirapan nyo talaga. Masaya-masaya kami kasi at least alam niyo na mula umpisa hanggang dulo, sinamahan namin kayo.
You are holding on to that dream. You have a choice today to go up or stay down. Now is the time to take the first step to the top. With quality review materials that produce board top-notchers and thousands of board passers across professions.
Today, let's discuss
In dynamic, innovative, and interactive review delivery. Ensuring an excellent, balanced, relevant, and comprehensive review experience. Extending support beyond review and celebrating victories together as one family. What you choose today determines your success, so make that powerful decision.
Welcome to the top.
Choose to be the top with TopRank.
Sobrang laki ng change ko. Simula nung pumasok ako hanggang nung nakagraduate ako from TopRank Review Center. One of the best sila sa buong Pilipinas. Mga staff, sobrang accommodating. Talagang din nila tinitipid yung mga reviewees nila sa mga kailangan para matuto. Sobrang lively ng environment, very conducive for learning. Ang daming natututunang knowledge na bago na hindi mo narinig nung college, na bago talaga sa pandinig mo, sa kanila mo matutunan kasi talagang nagre-research yung mga lecturers from TopRank para maibigay yung mga kailangan talaga ng mga students. So, after nung exam, confident ako na RRT na ako, pero hindi ko in-expect na makukuha ko yung 10th place. Nakuha ko tong place na to dahil sa TopRank.
Honestly po, hindi po ako one of the best students in our batch. Susunod po, hindi po talaga ako masipag na tao. Kinailangan ko po talaga mag-review center. TopRank is one of the best talaga na review center. Kasi kompleto, isang malaking part po talaga ng success tong review center na to kasi pinush po talaga nila kami sa pinaka-limit namin. Minotivate nila kami, tinuro talaga nila lahat. Yung mga staff din po, sobrang friendly nila, approachable, and then yung mga lecturers, the best po talaga sila. Kasi kung san-san pa po sila galing, kahit pagod sila, magtuturo po at magtuturo yan kahit hanggang 9 PM nagtuturo po sila, tapos galing pa po silang biyahe, ganun. Sobrang sulit po talaga sa TopRank.
TopRank is actually a good center for us for taking the Radiologic Board Exam. I actually tried to study by myself, but since they gave me sample of review material and I was challenged by those, so I tried to enroll then. I enjoyed enrolling in TopRank actually, since they taught me a lot. Actually, the best thing about TopRank is that it doesn't bind you with the four corners of the room. They try to embody you with the proper mindset in what's actually worth reviewing for. Are you trying to review for yourself or for the board exam? And they're trying to incorporate it with the faith, trying to make sure na naka-center ka pa rin kung what really matters. And it's not just about passing the board exam, but you have to have the professional mindset, and of course, everything is centered to God.
Natulungan kami noon ng TopRank dahil sila mismo yung nag-adjust ng schedule nila, binigyan nila kami ng magandang schedule para kung ano yung naturo sa ibang block, madaanan din namin. Kahit 2 months lang na pumasok sa TopRank, naging family na yung touring nila sa amin kasi nag-a-ask sila kung okay pa kami. And lagi nilang tinatanong kung kaya pa namin para maging best kami sa sarili namin. Napili ko na mag-review pa rin sa TopRank kahit may mga available pa na ibang review centers or meron namang mga resources. Kasi sa review, parang kailangan mo is yung pati magmamotivate sa'yo, hindi lang magtuturo, pati yung sasamahan ka talaga along your journey para sa board exam na tatahakin mo.
our ever-loving Father, the core of every reason, the source of truth. You who made the earth and the heavens are the ultimate goal of every knowledge seekers, the infinite wisdom, the cause of all that is good. We are truly grateful for this opportunity to gather together as a community despite the challenges we face each day. Yet you remained and gave us strength to carry on the responsibilities of bearing intelligence and using them for better purposes. We now humbly ask you to join us in our endeavor to explore the wonders of life in the world for knowledge's sake, that in whatever we learn today, we become more grounded to you, who is truth, who is love. We pray that you bless our speakers, the fount of your infinite knowledge, that they can share something worthwhile despite the limited time we have. They can channel all they know and share to us the beauty and truth of living as your child. We pray that you guide our participants, the seekers of your boundless knowledge, that they may continue to persevere in the search and be deemed worthy to share what they learn from today's session. Sanctify us, O Lord, not because we are worthy of it, but because we believe in your love and mercy, that at the end of the day, we can take home something that's amazing and meaningful. This we ask and pray through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Kayang magiging telas ng sinakanan, alam ng puso, sa titik mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, tuyang ka ng magiting, sa manlulupin, di ka pasisigil, sa nagagang tutok sa simoy at sa langit mong pagaw, ay hinatang tulad, awit sa pagkayang minamahal. Ang isang ng matawad mo'y tagumpay na nag-iingin, ang bituin at araw niya kailan pamay di magdidinig. Luman ang araw ng walhagit pagsinta, buhay langit sa piling mo. Ang inigaya ng pagkay mga amin, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Of different schools we start, of a single name in a part. The clash of battle is sweet to hear. Right now when the victory is near, excellence is our only standard to outshine the rest. With a great mind and compassionate heart. Trained us to be the best we can be. All that we learned at TopRank Review Academy. We shout with pride and heads up high as victors our dreams shall soar to the sky. The trained us to be the best we can be. Soar to the sky. We learn that if you want to TopRank Review Academy. Soar to the sky.
Good afternoon, top rankers, guests, deans, coordinators, and everyone here on Zoom and Facebook Live. My name is Caroline Pelaez, and I will be your host for today's event. So today we will be having our Bayanihan Review Assistance Program for RadTech, wherein we will be giving out free lecture series from July 7th until the 11th from 1 to 3 p.m. for our TopRank Radtech free lecture series. We will be having Human Anatomy on July 7 by Professor Vince Neil Rafael Suclad, Rad Positioning on July 8th by Sir Reynold Anthony Gonzalez, Rad Physics on July 9 by Professor Mark Jason Gutierrez, Rad Sciences on July 10 by Professor Adrian Luigi Morte, and last but not the least, for Rad Technique on July 11th will be Professor Maria Isabelle Ramirez. So for the benefit of those who doesn't know who TopRank Review Academy is yet, let me introduce our brief company profile. So TopRank has been established in 2013, and right now we're already considered as one of the biggest national review centers here in the country. We currently have 20 local branches and 4 international branches. So for our local branches, let's start with our Manila main office. We are located at the 5th floor of the Don Lorenzo building, right in front of PRC in Moraita, Manila. And we also have branches in Quezon City, Marikina, and Caloocan. For provincial branches, we have branches in Lawag, Baguio, Dagupan, Nueva Vizcaya, Tuguegarao, Bataan, Bicol, in Legazpi, and Naga, Cebu, Iloilo, Tacloban, Calbayog, Davao, Bacolod, Zamboanga, up until Coronadal, South Cotabato. And for our international branches, we are located in the Republic of Indonesia, both in Jakarta and in Bandung in Indonesia. So what we basically do there is provide them international exam review, as well as trainings and seminars for their healthcare workers to be more globally competitive. And you know what? Amongst all the other review centers here in the country, we're the only one who was invited at the 70th anniversary of diplomatic relations of Indonesia and the Philippines. And this happened prior to the pandemic, before the lockdown last year. We also have branches in Dubai and in Abu Dhabi in the United Arab Emirates. So what we do there is provide them international exam review, as well as IELTS and OET review. So for our track record, we don't only offer RadTech, but we also offer dentistry. Our top one came from Centro Escolar University in Manila. We also offer licensure examination for teachers. Our top 2 came from UP Manila. We also offer psychometrician review and criminology. Our top 1 came from Universidad de Zamboanga. And of course, we have RadTech, which is this is the most recent result that was just announced a few weeks ago. So we got the top 1 spot, 3 top 3s, 1 top 6, and 1 top 10. And our top 1 came from St. Louis University in Baguio, as well as our former top 1 for RadTech also came from SLU in Baguio City. This is our Hall of Fame for our RadTech review. And of course, we also have respiratory therapy. Here are our top-notchers, and these 4 students are also products of our online interactive review for this year. We also offer midwifery and of course nursing. Our top 1 spot, we got the top 1 spot starting 2017, 2018, and 2019. And of course, for this year's MedTech review, these are also products of our online interactive review. So as I have mentioned, it doesn't really matter what platform we are using for our preparation for the board exam, because what's most important is your determination and your perseverance to really succeed for you to achieve success. And because of our track record, we are now multi-awarded as the best national review center here in the country by multiple award-giving bodies, such as the Golden Globe, Best Choice, Q Asia, Global Awards, and Global Excellence Awards. So for our review proper, our review will start on August 31 for the December 2021 Radiologic and X-Ray Technologists review. For more information, and if you are already interested to enroll in our program, please do send us a message through our Facebook fan page. It's TopRank Review Academy on Facebook. So let us now all welcome our guest speaker for today. Thank you.
Hi, kids, or shall I say, hi, and good afternoon, future top rankers and future radiologic technologists. Kamusta naman po kayo dyan? Are you still good? Right after ang tawag nito, right after lunch, I know that you are a bit of full, okay? Pero kailangan gising kayo. Kailangan ko kayong gising. So are you with me, kids? Or are you with me, future RRTs? Yes? Pwede mag-unmute if you want. Okay, so kids, pasensya na
Yes
kayo.
po.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Ayan, Captain.
Yes, medyo na-pressure ako sa pag-English ni Ma'am Cake a while ago, but I will really try my best. Okay? So kids, good afternoon. If you may, pagpasensyahan nyo na, I won't be able to open my cam kasi it might get a lot of data for our internet network connection. So, ang gagawin ko na lang muna is to just share my screen with you and of course, talk about what we are about to discuss this afternoon. Ayan. So I know that you love radiographic technique kasi kung hindi, bakit kayo dito? Ayan. So, are you able to see my screen? Is it already showing?
Wala pa po.
Wala pa.
Wala po.
Try again. Dahil dyan. Subukan natin isa pa. Yan. Just tell me if you are able to see the screen so that I may put it in a slide view or slideshow view. Okay, pagpasensya
Meron
na.
na, ma'am.
Ayan, okay, very good. Sige. So, alam ko naman na ang technique, okay, is one of the, sabihin na natin, isa sa mga hindi naman kinakatakutan, love niya siya pero kinakatakutan natin siya sa boards. Kasi ang part na nakakagulat sa kanya is the part of relationships. Pero alam niyo naman, bilang mga Radtech, doon nga tayo dapat magaling sa mga relasyon. So ngayon, pag-uusapan natin, how do we now deal with Rad Technique relationships? Ayan. So gustong-gustong topic ng mga iba ang pagbibigayan. Okay? Relationship between one variable to another. Okay? So this will be our afternoon discussion. So I'm only given up until 3, but are you good if we slightly extend? Would you be okay with it? Sabagay, wala naman. On pa rin naman siya. Yes. Okay. So sa lahat ng mga future RRTs, so we do encourage you that as early as now, you start reading or you start scanning your notes, or kung gagraduate pa lang or nakagraduate na, keep those notes beside with you, and then every day try to do at least mga 30 minutes na pagbabasa. So, hahanapin siya ng katawan nyo hanggang sa dumating na yung review proper natin, 'di ba? Hindi na kayo magkakaroon ng napakalaking adjustment. Okay, so how do we now deal with RT relationships? So just to give you more of an introduction, what we will be able to discuss this afternoon is more of a refresh kung ano yung alam na natin. Okay? So it means that we will cover mostly the basic parts kasi yung basic, yun naman kasi talaga yung laging hinahanap. And from the basic, kailangan maintindihan muna natin siya before we could go with the advanced one. Okay? So now, ano yung kailangan muna natin intindihin? So, if we try, okay, to look at the family of your radiographic quality. Okay? So, ano bang ibig sabihin pagka sinabi natin na quality? So, pagka sinabi natin ngayon na quality, we are actually pertaining to, lumipat siya ng mag-isa. Okay. Nangyayari sa kanya. So, if we are pertaining to quality, so therefore, we are actually pertaining to what we call as your standard. Oops, ano nangyayari? Okay, ayan. Sige. So we are pertaining to a standard. Ayan. So pagka sinabi na standard, meron tayong base, meron tayong excellence, or meron tayong baseline or reference na sinusunod. So from there, it actually gives off into two branches, wherein we will have your photographic quality and we have your geometric quality. Okay? So pagka sinabi natin ngayon na photographic quality, under this umbrella, okay, ang iintindihin natin dito is more on the visibility, okay, of your images. Nakikita ba natin siyang maayos? Nakikita ba natin siyang maganda? Or at all, nakikita pa ba natin siya? That's why under visibility, ang pag-uusapan natin is density and contrast. Okay? So again photographic quality under the main or the mother, okay, quality. So it means more of the visibility of the images. So under nyan, we have your density and the contrast. Okay? Punta tayo sa kabila. Now we have your geometric quality. Definitely, if you are now able to see the image, we will now be checking on the, what we call as your, sorry, lumilipat siya. Okay? So we will now be talking for the geometric quality more on the sharpness of the image. Gaano kalinaw or distinct yung edges or details na nakikita natin dun sa images on the radiograph. That's why under geometric quality, those criteria or components na kailangan nating i-check would be detail and distortion. Okay? So again, quality, under that big umbrella, we have your photographic quality pertaining to visibility, which can be seen through density and contrast. Then we have your geometric quality na ang titignan natin dito na criteria would be detail and distortion. Okay? So now, punta tayo ngayon sa relationship. So under density, sino yung mga kailangan natin tignan dito? What are those different factors which can affect our relationship? So we have your technical factors. This will be pertaining to your KVP, MAS, and distance. Okay? Patient considerations, mataba, mapayat, may sakit, okay? May pinainom na contrast media or what. Okay? Then we also have your processing factors and other factors which pertains to your use of other devices or equipment. So such as using collimator or adding up the use of a grid, okay? Adding up your filter material, okay? And etc. O yan. So under contrast, technical factors still, patient consideration, having filter, and scatter radiation. Ano ngayon na magiging significant change or relation niya with our contrast? Then we also have your detail, which there are actually 4, but we will focus more on geometric unsharpness and motion unsharpness because these two, ayan ay laging nagpapakita at kumakaway sa inyong board examination papers. Okay? Next, we have your distortion, which ang pag-uusapan natin are those, are those factors affecting magnification and shape distortion. Okay, now let's start first with density. We'll tackle your technical factors. So we have MAS, SID, and KVP. So under MAS, okay, puntahan natin dito. Ano bang relasyon ng MAS sa ating density? Bubuyoy? O isay. Okay. So, pagka sinabi kasi natin na MAS, particularly, ayan, sabi ng ating Busyong, sabi ni Fauber, sino pa? Sino pa nagsabi? Sabi ni Burns. Ayan. MAS is considered to be your primary, medyo mabagal ang pagtatype ng ating ayan, primary controlling factor. Okay? So, pagka sinabi natin na primary controlling factor, mawala na silang lahat. Joke lang. SID, KVP, mabubuhay si density. Okay? So therefore, when you check, ang una mong hahanapin, what is the MAS? To oversee or to look, ano ngayon na mangyari kay density. So ngayon, since this is your primary controlling factor, MAS is your primary controlling factor for density, okay? Ang relationship nila is that as you increase your MAS, your density shall also increase. Ayan. Okay? So it is in a direct relationship. Okay? So what you do when you, okay, put, ayan ha, twice as much as a change in your MAS, twice as much din ang mangyayari sa change na makikita natin sa ating density. Again ha, we're talking about density, so therefore we are talking about the overall blackening of your film. Kaitiman. Okay? Kaitiman. Ba't na nalipat siyang mag-isa? Okay. Next. So we have MAS and density, direct relationship, increase, increase. Okay? So punta tayo ngayon with your SID. SID or distance, okay, particularly your source to image receptor distance, covers from the source of your radiation, which is your focal spot. Okay? Then we have your object. Ito yung object natin ngayon. Then we have your image receptor. Okay? So from your focal spot up until to the image receptor, that will be our SID. Pagpasensyahan nyo na, nagulo ang ating board. Ayan, ayusin natin siya. Okay. Ayaw niya magpaayos. Sige, hayaan mo na siya. Okay. So ngayon, ang SID natin, kakaiba naman siya. It's actually considered as always following your inverse square law. Okay? So I know you're familiar with your inverse square law. Ano ba yung nangyayari sa aking ano? Inverse square law. Okay. Na kung saan, okay, if you double your distance, okay, your SID, ang nangyari is that it also follows na mababawasan yung iyong density by 1/4. Okay? So, ibig sabihin matitira na lang is 1/4 of your density. So, it is inversely, okay ha? Inversely ang kanilang relationship, inverse relationship. So, therefore, okay, as a summary, you increase your SID. Pagpasensya nyo na, pakalat-kalat tayo. Increase SID would actually bring you to a lower or decrease density. Kasi habang nilalayo mo ngayon yung iyong distance, kukonti ngayon na X-ray photons or remnant radiation ang umaabot doon sa ating film. So the tendency is you will now have a lower density level. Okay, bumababa na siya. Yes, ayan. Meron tayong question. Sige, tignan natin. Okay. Walang sound. Why? Bakit kaya walang sound? Okay. Is anybody hearing me? Or may glitch lang?
Loud and clear, ma'am.
Loud and clear. Okay, sige, sige.
Crystal clear po. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Ayan, sige. So ulitin ko ha. Again, for our MAS, direct relationship, when you increase MAS, what happens to our density? Increase din siya. How about our distance? Dahil lumalayo ang distansya from your focal spot, which is the source of your X-rays, okay, papunta doon sa ating image receptor, humihina rin ang ating or bumababa rin ang ating density level. So therefore, increase in density would actually give you a increase in distance would actually give you a decrease in your density level. Okay? So na-cover na natin siyang dalawa. Punta na tayo ngayon kay KVP. Ma'am Isa, o yan. Sabi nyo, primary controlling factor natin is MAS. Yes, how about KVP? KVP is a bit different. Although it influencer natin siya ha, hindi siya primary controlling factor, but an influencer. Okay? Influencer parang YouTube lang. Ayan. Influence. Nag-i-influence lang siya with our density. Okay? So, ayan ha. When we increase our KVP, dahil lumalakas ang ating mga X-ray photons na nakakaabot sa ating film, tumataas din ang ating density level. Ayan. Oops, sorry. Okay. Tumataas din ang ating density level. So therefore, it is hindi siya direct relationship, but, okay, but it influences. So again ha, increase in MAS will give you increase in density. Increase in SID would actually give you decrease in density. Increase in KVP dahil dumadami or lumalakas yung ating X-ray photons, tumataas din yung ating level of density. Okay? Next, punta tayo ngayon with processing. Okay? So with processing, or sorry, with patient, rather, sorry. So titingnan natin ngayon na factors would be patient thickness, okay, tissue density, contrast media, and the presence of pathology. Okay? So unahin muna natin. Ma'am, anong relationship ng patient thickness sa density? Hindi nyo ba napapansin during internship kapag medyo lang naman, hindi ko naman sinasabi lahat, ayan, medyo malusog yung mga patients natin, they have an increase in their patient thickness, okay? And lagay natin dito, increase in patient thickness, nahihirapan tayo na ma-penetrate, ayan, yung kanilang tissue. Hindi masyadong makalabas yung ating mga x-rays kasi either na-absorb or malaki yung na-attenuate sa kanila. Therefore, when you have increase in patient thickness, what happens to our density? It's either getting, ayan ha, it's either getting yung ating x-ray photons, absorb or attenuated. Therefore, our density decreases. Okay? So lalong mataba yung pasyente natin, lalong bumababa o lalong mataba ha, lalong bumababa yung ating density level. Okay? Kaya mag-diet-diet na tayo. Ayan, next. Okay, punta tayo ngayon with your tissue density. Guys, we are pertaining to tissue density. Therefore, ito yung ating 5 tissue density groups. If you can remember, di ba, we have your teeth. Ayan. Which is the most densest. Densest na, most pa. Ano ba yan? Si Ma'am Isa, redundant. Okay, so we have the teeth. Then we have bone. Then we also have your organs. So, ayan, yung mga solid organs natin. Lagyan natin dito. And then we have, okay, fats. Okay. Fats, organs, ayan sila. And then water. Okay. Sorry guys, lumilipad, naglalakad mag-isa yung pointer. Oh my God. Okay. Fat. And then, syempre yung water, lagyan na nga natin dito. Ayan. Okay. Then we also have your aerated tissue. Okay. Ayan. So these are your 5 different tissue density levels. So pagka sinabi mo teeth and bone, sila yung pinaka may mataas na tissue density ha, tissue density. So kapag mataas ang tissue density, mas siksik ngayon yung ating atoms, molecules, etc. So what happens is, yes po, Sir Daniel Escobar, you raise your hand. You have some question? Hello, sir? Sir Daniel? Daniel Escobar, you raise your hand. Do you have a question? Yes. Yes. Okay, anong nangyayari? Okay, not sure what's happening. Sige, i-erase ko lang muna ha. Ayan. Okay, erase ko lang din muna. Okay. So, let's go with tissue density. So, sabi nga natin, mas dense ang tissue, mas nakakapag-absorb, and mas nakakapag-attenuate ngayon siya ng ating X-ray photon. So, what happens is that when we have an increase in our tissue density, apologies for that. Okay. So, anong nangyayari when we have an increase in our tissue density, lagay natin, increase tissue density. So, we have lesser density itself. Okay? Ma'am Isa, paano kung halimbawa, ganito naman po. Ang X-ray po namin is more on soft tissues. Okay? Or aerated organs, like the lung. Ayan, lungs. Okay? So, mababa ang kanyang tissue density. Therefore, we will have an increase in your density level. Okay? So, sorry. Ba't lumilipat siya mag-isa? Pusa, nalipat. Okay. Next, punta tayo ngayon with our contrast media. So, ilagay lang natin dito ha, increase in patient thickness. Okay. So, therefore, increase in density. Then for our tissue density, increase in tissue density would actually give you decrease in density. Inverse naman siya. Okay? Ay, sorry. Wait lang ha, buburahin ko nga lang lahat ng panggulo na mga letter na ito. Clear all. Okay? Yan. Sige, next. Punta tayo ngayon with our contrast media. So we have two types ng contrast media. So we have your positive contrast media and we have your negative na contrast media. So anything, positive contrast media, ito yung mga barium sulfate natin. Okay? Yung mga baso 4 natin. Ayan. So these are our baso 4. Ayan. And then, okay. And your iodine, plus iodine. Okay? So sila yung mga positive contrast media natin. Ang negative natin would be, okay, air, nitrous oxide, anything, okay, na may kinalaman sa hangin. Okay? Ayan. Lagyan natin siya dito. Apologies, keeps on going there. Ayan. Air and, okay. Lagyan natin NO na lang. Nitrous oxide. Okay? So when you have positive contrast media, anong nangyayari dun sa ating density? Because it gets absorbed. Okay? Yung ating X-ray photons, bumababa ngayon yung ating density level. So when you have negative contrast, such as air, okay, na binigay natin sa patient, so tumataas yung ating density level. Okay? So that's it. Yun lang ang kanyang basic relationship. So punta tayo ngayon with the presence of pathology. So meron tayong dalawang klase ng pathology ha. For the density consideration. So ano yung dalawa na to? We call it as your additive pathology. AD ko na lang na ilalagay dito, additive pathology. Then we also have your subtractive, okay, pathology. Additive and subtractive pathology. Okay? Ma'am Isa, anong pinagkaiba nila sa isa't isa? Okay. Si AD, additive, lagyan lang natin dito, tagad ngayon siya. Ibig sabihin, it adds up to the tawag dito, it adds up to the tissue density that is already existing. Okay? So therefore, kung additive pathology siya, ang ginagawa niya sa ating density is that binabawasan niya ito. So anything with the presence of additive pathology would actually give you a decrease, ayan, in your density level. Decrease ang nangyayari sa atin. And then, okay, if you have any kind of subtractive, okay naman, na pathology, anything na kumakain dun sa tissue, dun sa laman, okay, dun sa organ itself, that would actually give you an increase in your density level. Okay? Increase. Ma'am Isa, bigyan mo nga naman kami ng example. Di namin ma-imagine. Okay, sige. Additive pathology. How about CA or cancer? Meron dalawang klase ng cancer. Nagbubukol, okay, na cancer. It adds up density. It adds up tissue. That is considered as additive pathology. Okay? Kapag ka sinabi mo naman, cancer na kumakain ng laman, o yan, subtractive naman siya. Okay, another one. Kung hindi nyo ma-imagine, how about na lang ito? Para madali, we have your, okay ha, we have your pleural effusion. Okay, nagkakaroon tayo ng fluid sa ating pleural cavity. So, ang nakikita natin sa radiograph ay halos puti na. Okay, yung kanyang chest x-ray. So, that is an additive pathology. What happens to your density? It decreases. Bumababa. Punta tayo, subtractive pathology. How about if we have pneumothorax? Okay? May presence ngayon siya ng free air within the pleural cavity. It adds up negative. Parang negative contrast yun kasi may hangin. Okay? So therefore, it increases your density level. Okay? So that is for the patient. Now, punta tayo for our processing factors. Okay? So pagdating sa processing factors natin, meron lang tayong tatlo na i-consider. Okay? Pag sinabi ko ditong processing, ibig sabihin, we are pertaining to the manual and the automatic processing. Okay? Manual and automatic processing. Although I know sa ngayon, during your internship, halos digital na kayo. Okay? Pero manual and automatic processing ang binabanggit natin dito. So, when we try to process, okay, we are looking at the temperature, okay, of your developer solution, time ng ating pagde-develop, and the activity or the solution. O yan, solution or activity. Okay, so ibig sabihin, gaano kabago yung ating solution. Bago lang ba siyang tinimpla, o last week pa, o last year pa. Naku, last year di na ginagamit yun. Okay, so puntahan muna natin si temperature. So, when we have an increase in our temperature, lagay natin dito, increase in temperature would actually give you also an increase in your density level. Kasi yung increase in temperature natin helps with the swelling of your silver halide crystals during your processing. So in that way, yan ha, swelling pala ng ating emulsion. Ayan, swelling ng ating emulsion. So in that way, mas madaling nape-penetrate, okay, ng ating hydroquinone at saka ng ating phenidone, yung ating silver halide crystals. So therefore, it increases in its density level as well. So increase in temperature, increase in density. Ma'am Isa, paano kung halimbawa, hinabaan ko yung oras ng pagde-develop ko? What do you think will happen with my density? So the longer, okay, that you process yung iyong image or yung iyong film, mas tumataas din ang iyong density level. Kasi mas tumatagal na nakababad. Ano ba yan? Pasensya nyo na. Mas matagal kasi na nakababad siya doon sa ating solution. So therefore, what happens is, ayan, umiitim din siya. Okay? So increase in time will give you increase in your density level. So, parehas pa rin ha, increase. Okay, next, punta tayo sa activity. Siyempre, pag mas bago yung solution, mas matapang, mas aggressive ngayon siya na makapag-penetrate on our film. So, what happens is, you increase, okay, the activity of your solution. Lagay natin dito, increase in activity of the solution. It would actually give you as well, ayan ha, increase in your density level. Nagtataas din siya. So lahat sila tumataas. If you increase your temp, you increase your density. If you increase your developing time, you increase your density. If you are having a new activity or new solution, nakakatimpla, increase in density level din siya. Okay? So next, punta tayo ngayon sa others. Okay? Punta tayo with your grid, your filter, fog, having some exposure to fog, and then beam restriction. Okay. So grid and filter. Ma'am Isa, ba't naka-slash? Di ba magkaiba yan? Yes, magkaiba sila. Ang grid, ginagamit natin siya actually to reduce your scatter radiation. Yun talaga ang purpose ng grid, para mapaganda ang quality ng ating images. Okay? To remove scatter radiation. Okay, remove. Ayan. So pag na-remove niya na yung scatter radiation, nag-i-increase din yung ating quality. But, okay, as we remove our scatter radiation, nababawasan din tayo ng density. Kasi yung ating scatter radiation adds up additional 80 o sabihin mo na 50 to 80% ng density level sa film. Okay? So when we have grid, any kind of grid, it decreases your density. Lalo na pagka sinabi ko, increase ng ating grid, ayan ha, ratio, GR. Okay? What will happen to our density? Bababa ang ating density level. Kasi i-absorb ng grid yung ating scatter radiation, which decreases your density. Ma'am Isa, how about the filter? Okay, ano ba yung purpose ng filter? Ang filter, ina-absorb niya lang yung mga low energy photons. Sala. Okay, taga-sala lang siya. Anyway, every time that you use any kind of filter, okay, dalawa kasi yung filter natin, di ba? It's either aluminum or in some cases, tulad ng mga ginagamit natin for therapy, okay, gumagamit din tayo ng copper. Okay? So when you use any kind of filter, ayan, filter material, syempre, magbabawas ka rin ng density. Kasi nababawasan din yung ating X-ray photons na po pwedeng umabot dun sa ating film. Okay? Lalo na kung kinapalan mo ngayon yung iyong filter thickness. O ayan, di lalong bababa ang iyong density level. Okay? Punta tayo ngayon with the presence of fog. Ma'am Isa, ano po ba pagka sinabi natin na fog? These are considered as, o yan ha, additional densities. O, syempre, di alam na natin, kapag may presence ng fog, okay, therefore, what will happen to our density? Increase ng ating density. Pero hindi ko sinasabi na kung increase ng density, maganda na ha. Kasi minsan, o yan, nag-increase tayo ng density, pero hindi gumaganda yung quality ng ating images. Okay? It's nuance. Ito, nuance. Pampagulo siya. Next, punta tayo with our beam restriction. Or, okay, in other terms, ang pwede nating tawag sa kanya is collimation. Ayan. Pag galit tayo sa patient, hindi sumusunod, ayaw mong sumunod full blast ka ngayon. De, joke lang. Huwag niyong gagawin yun. Okay? So if we have collimation, so pag sinabi natin na beam restriction or collimation, we tend to, ayan give a smaller FOV or field of view. So ibig sabihin, for example lang, from a 14 by 17 na cassette size natin or RI size natin, pag sinabi mong collimate, ito lang talaga ang exposed sa ating X-ray. Okay? Ito lang. Yang maliit lang na yan. So lagyan pa natin yan. That is collimation. So therefore, when we increase, okay, our collimation, when we increase our collimation or beam restriction, BR, ayan na lang. What happens to our density? Dahil nako-collimate mo siya, nagbabawas ka ngayon ng density level. Okay? So increase in collimation, decrease in density. Ma'am Isa, what happens if, o yan ha, we decrease collimation? Okay. Binawasan mo yung collimation mo. So therefore, kung ang size ng iyong IR, okay, is 14 by 17, nag-decrease ka ng collimation, bongga. Okay? Finull blast mo siya. Covered 14 by 17 din ng kanyang FOV. What will happen to our density level? Definitely, it will also increase. Okay? Inverse naman yung kanyang relationship. So that is for your density. So you have your technical factor for the patient as well, processing, and other additionals. Okay? So ngayon, puntahan natin ang ating contrast. Okay. So kung kanina, si density, pinag-uusapan natin is the blackening of the film, ang contrast naman is the difference of your density levels existing on the film. So there is variation ng density levels natin. That's why meron tayong tinatawag na, ayan, short scale contrast. Ayan. Okay. Short scale, and we also have your long scale contrast. Obvious naman short kasi maiksi lang siya. Long kasi mahaba. But as you can see on the palette itself, nagkakaroon ngayon siya ng difference in density level. So from black to gray, and then lighter hanggang maging white. Okay? So that is your variation in density levels. So we have a short scale of contrast and a long scale of contrast. Ito lang muna tayo. Discuss muna natin to. So pagka sinabi natin ngayon na short scale of contrast, okay, you have a fewer, fewer lang. Few shades of gray. So lagyan natin dito, few shades of gray. So ibig sabihin ko, konti lang yung shades of gray na meron tayo. Pagka sinabi natin ngayon na long scale of contrast, you have many shades of gray. Okay? So therefore, pagka sinabi kong contrast, it is the difference, okay, of your shades or your density levels. So pag sinabi ko, which among the two, short or long scale, will actually give you a higher contrast. Pag sinabi natin na contrast ngayon, pinagkaiba ng puti at saka ng itim. So sino sa kanilang dalawa, yung kitang-kita natin dito, puti at saka itim. Distinct na distinct. It's the short scale of contrast. So therefore, if we have a short scale of contrast, fewer shades of gray, Increase contrast po tayo dyan. Okay? Increase contrast po tayo dyan. Pagka sinabi naman natin ngayon na long scale of contrast, marami kang shades of gray eh. Sobrang dami. So therefore, hindi mo ngayon masyadong ma-delineate, okay, yung distinct na pinagkaiba ng puti at saka ng itim. Kasi maraming pinagdadaanan, maraming differentiation. So therefore, you have, ayan, low contrast. Okay? Punta tayo ngayon sa technical factor. So sa contrast, isa lang ang makaka-affect sa kanya when it comes to your technical factor, and that is your KVP. Okay? KVP lang siya. Pero kakaibang relationship nila. Because KVP and contrast has an inverse relationship. Baliktaran sila. So therefore, when we use a very high, ayan, na KVP, ano ang mangyayari sa contrast natin? Inverse nga eh. So mataas na KVP ang gamit natin. Therefore, mababang contrast ang makukuha natin. Okay? Pag gumamit ka naman ng mababang KVP, okay, doon tumataas yung ating contrast level. So therefore, basing on this explanation or on this detail or information, you can now identify, okay, ang short scale contrast na to, since mataas ang contrast niya, ang ginamit sa kanya ay mababang KVP lang. Okay? Mababang KVP lang. That's why ang short scale of contrast, the best siyang gamitin for extremity examinations. Okay? Extremity examination. O, ano nangyari sa ballpen natin? Malakad mag-isa. Okay? Extremity examinations. But if you use a long scale of contrast, many shades of gray, okay? Therefore, ang ginamit natin dyan ay mataas na KVP. That's why, pag nag-chest x-rays, di ba yun? Nag-chopsoy na. Okay, so kaya kapag nag-chest x-rays tayo at saka abdominal examinations, we tend to use a higher KVP level. Okay? Laging mataas. Kasi kailangan ma-differentiate natin yung mga density levels existing on the chest and on the abdomen. Okay? So this is for your technical factor under contrast. So we have only KVP. Inverse ang relationship. Increase ng paggamit ng KVP, bababa ang contrast natin. Therefore, ayan ha, you will gain a gain a long scale of contrast. Pagka mababang KVP ang ginamit natin, mas distinct ngayon yung puti at saka yung itim. So therefore, you will tend to see a short scale of contrast. Okay? Now, let's move on with our patient. Dito medyo kakaiba. Ayan. Ang contrast, iba naman ngayon siya pagdating sa patient thickness. Okay? Kasi mas, ayan ha, makapal ang ating patient or ang sabihin na natin, thickness ng patient natin, okay? Mas bumababa, okay, ang ating contrast. Okay? So therefore, many shades of gray. Many shades of gray. Ma'am Isa, bakit ganon? Okay, isipin mo na lang, kung ganito kataba ang pasyente, patient 1. Ito ang second patient natin. Patient 2. Okay. Between the two of them, syempre, mas makapal to. Mas maraming centimeter or layers of fat na kailangang i-traverse ng ating X-ray beam for this kind of patient thickness. Itong mas makapal. So dahil mas marami siyang layers of fat na kailangang i-traverse, mas nagkakaroon ngayon siya ng diversity in its attenuated beam. At dahil mas diverse yung kanyang attenuated beam, nagkakaroon ngayon siya ng many shades of gray dahil dyan. Kaya bumababa ang kanyang contrast level. Pero kung mas payat yung pasyente, okay, yung X-ray or yung part na kailangan mo i-X-ray, kukonti lang yung itatraverse niya na layers. So therefore, yung beam mo, hindi siya masyadong na-attenuate. Kaya kita mo yung puti at saka yung itim. Okay? Again, increase in patient thickness would actually give you a lower contrast. Decrease in patient thickness, lagyan natin dito, decrease in patient thickness. Lalakad mag-isa yung ano. Okay. Increase naman tayo in contrast level. Okay? Kahit hindi na naintindihan kasi ang gulo-gulo na, Ma'am Isa. Okay, wait lang. Lilinisin ko lamang. Yan. Okay. So, umpisa natin. Increase. Okay. In patient thickness. What will happen? Decrease tayo in its contrast. Decrease tayo ngayon ng patient thickness. Increase tayo ng contrast. Okay? Next, punta tayo ngayon kay contrast media. Guys, whether positive contrast, umiikot siya mag-isa. Okay. Whether positive contrast media or, sorry lumipat. Ano ba yan? Okay. Whether positive contrast media or negative contrast media, parehas lang yan. May contrast media pa rin siya. Therefore, pagdating sa contrast, basta meron ka alin dyan sa dalawa, okay, nagkakaroon ka ngayon ng decrease tuloy. Nagkakaroon ka ngayon ng higher contrast. Okay? Mas kita mo na ngayon yung puti at saka yung itim. Okay? Either positive or negative, you will get an increase in contrast. Lalo na, okay? Another, we have filter. So every time that you use filter, either aluminum or copper, pag meron kang filter na ginamit, matik yon, taas agad ang iyong contrast. Okay? Kasi nalilinis, nawawala yung low energy photons, nawawala yung mga additional na nuisance natin. So, tumataas ngayon yung contrast levels mo. Okay? Next, punta tayo with your last part for your contrast, scatter radiation. So, sa scatter radiation, dalawa lang halos. Okay? So, you have your grid and collimator. But I know, okay, others will also be using the air gap technique. Okay? Pero hindi ko siya sinama dito. Ayan. Sige, sama natin later. Ayan. Okay, so unahin natin, grid muna. Any kind of grid that you use, okay, basta may presence ng grid in comparison to others na wala. Kahit anong grid ratio niyan or anong grid frequency niyan, every time nagagamit ng grid, tumataas ang contrast. Okay? Pero kapag mas mataas na grid ratio or mas mataas na grid frequency, sorry, lumipat siya, grid frequency na ginagamit natin, tumataas din ang ating contrast kasi natatanggal yung scatter radiation. Pag bumababa yung grid ratio, in comparison ha, kasi mamaya, makita nyo later, may practice questions tayo. Okay? Makita nyo later, magko-compare tayo. Pag bumababa ang grid ratio or bumababa yung ating grid frequency na ginagamit, okay, lesser ngayon yung capability niya to do clean up for your scatter radiation. So what happens? Siyempre, hindi masyadong nalilinis yung mga scattered radiation, kaya bumababa ang ating contrast kasi mas marami ngayon siyang shades of gray. Okay? Just like when you do collimation. Okay? When you increase your collimation, nawawala ngayon, mababawasan yung ating scattered radiation. Therefore, lagay ko lang dito CO para collimate. Ayan. CO, collimation. So when you increase your collimation, you also increase your contrast. Okay? So, mas maganda talaga kapag nagko-collimate. Okay? Next, pagka, ayan, mababa ang collimation, ibig sabihin, naka-full blast ka. Okay? Bukang-buka ang collimator leaves, walang pakialam. Okay? So, kapag ka mababa ang collimation, ibig sabihin naka-full blast ka, anong nangyayari sa ating contrast? Bumababa din siya kasi dumadami yung scattered radiation na umaabot dun sa ating film. Okay. Iba naman ang air gap technique. We will be using here an increase of your OID. Okay? So dahil may increase ka ng OID, nalilesen natin pa rin yung abot nung ating scatter radiation dun sa ating film. So anytime that you use air gap technique, there is an increase in your OID, okay, object to image receptor distance, you will actually also get an increase of your contrast. Gumaganda yung contrast natin. Okay? So that's it for your contrast. Forward tayo ng konti, punta tayo ngayon with our detail. Okay? Pagpasensya niyo, sumasagot din yung aking aso. Ayan. Okay. So, punta tayo with detail. So sa detail, sabi ko nga sa inyo, dalawa lang pag-uusapan natin. We have your geometric and your motion factors. Unahin natin si geometric. Sa geometric, under that, we will only talk about FSS, okay? Or tinatawag natin din na, hindi pala tinatawag din na, pahabain lang natin siya. It is your focal, ayan, focal spot size. Okay? Naririnig niyo ba yung aso ko? Sorry. Sumasabay din siya. Sumasagot siya. So we have your focal spot size, FSS, SID, source to image receptor distance, OID, object to image receptor distance. Okay. Ma'am Isa, ano po ba yung FS muna? Ano po ba yung focal spot lang muna? Anong kahalagahan nito? Focal spot is the area within the anode where your X-rays are actually emanating. Doon siya nanggagaling. Okay? Pag sinabi natin ngayon na focal spot, ito yung original source or source na lang nung inyong, ayan ha, X-rays. Okay? Doon kasi tumatama yung electrons sa particular area na yon ng inyong anode at from there, nagkakaroon tayo ng production ng X-rays. So that is your focal spot. Pag dinagdagan mo ngayon siya ng size, we are now talking about is it a large or a small focal spot na ginagamit. Okay, tingnan natin. Small muna tayo. Small FSS. Small focal spot size. LFSS pertains to your large focal spot size. Usually, ang mga focal spot size okay, usually, ang mga focal spot sizes natin ranges from 0.5, okay, millimeter to 1, ayan na, naglalakad mag-isa, 1.2, ayan. Hindi yan 1.3, 1.2 yan, 1.2 millimeter. Lumalakad kasi mag-isa yung lapis ko eh. Ayan. 1.2 lang yan. Okay? 0.5 to 1.2 millimeter. Ito yung range ng focal spot sizes natin. So, kapag sinabi mo na small, paano ko siya masasabing small, Ma'am Isa? So, always look for a small focal spot size true. Kung halimbawa, lumabas man siya sa board exam, 0.5 to 0.6 millimeter. Okay? That will be your small focal spot size. Kapag sinabi na large, usually yan pumapatak sa 1.0 to 1.2 millimeter size. Okay? So, Ma'am Isa, tanong, ano ngayon ang effect ng paggamit ng small focal spot or ng large focal spot size sa aking detail? Okay, detail, di ba pagka sinabi natin na detail, this is the actuality of your image or of your object as shown within your radiographic images. So, kailangan parehas siya. Walang pagkakaiba, walang nagbago. Parehas pa rin siya. Okay? So, pag gumamit tayo ng small focal spot size, ang nangyayari kasi dyan, mas gumaganda yung ating detail. Okay? So, small focal spot size increases your detail actually. Ayan. Mas nagiging maganda yung resolution or sharp yung resolution ng images natin. Kaysa sa gumamit ka ng large. Pag gumamit ka ng large focal spot size, your detail wobbles, okay? Ibig sabihin, bumababa yung kanyang quality or yung kanyang resolution. Okay? Bakit po, Ma'am Isa? Because detail, okay, is dependent upon your umbra and your penumbra. If you can still remember, si umbra, this is your true distinct shadow. Ayan. Umbra. Ito yung gusto nating makita palagi, si umbra. True distinct shadow. Lagay natin dito. True. Okay. Ayan. Distinct shadow. Pero sometimes, may sumasama sa kanya na hindi natin gusto. Nasa paligid-ligid natin, okay? And that is what we call as your penumbra. Okay? Si penumbra, ito yung sinasabi natin na, sorry, lumilipat siya. Okay. Si penumbra, ito yung sinasabi natin na, ayan. Wait lang. Oops, okay. So si penumbra, ito yung sinasabi natin na peripheral shadow. Ito ngayon yung unsharpness. Okay, na ayaw natin. Na gusto nating tanggalin. Okay? Unsharpness, which is your penumbra. So every time that we use a small focal spot size, yung penumbra, okay, doon sa ating images actually lessens. Kaya ang nangyayari sa detail natin, gumaganda. Okay? So ilagay din natin dito, bumabawas ang unsharpness. Okay? Pero pag gumagamit ka ng large focal spot size, bumababa yung detail natin. Therefore, tumataas ngayon yung ating unsharpness. Okay? So, those are just the basic relationship. Alam ko parang medyo, ala, ang dami naman nito. O kaya, ala, nakakalito naman. Pero, as you get by, okay, as you read more, okay, you will still understand, or you will able to see the relationship behind. Okay? So, next, punta tayo ngayon with your SID. Ano bang relationship ng SID natin sa ating detail? Okay, sobrahin natin yung ibang nandito sa slide. So, when we use SID, okay, higher SID, lagay natin dito, sorry, ang ganda talaga ng sulat ko. Ayan, higher SID, humahaba ngayon yung ating source to image receptor distance. So, actually, when we tend to get or when we tend to use a higher SID, ang nangyayari doon sa ating detail, mas gumaganda siya. Bakit? Kasi nalilesen ngayon yung presence ng ating penumbra. Okay? That's why when you compare, ayan ha, 36, 40, 40, and then 72. Okay. Pag nag-chest x-rays tayo, as much as possible, we don't do 36. Kasi mataas ang unsharpness niyan. Plus, nagmamagnify yung ating heart. Okay? In bedside or in supine, either 40, okay? Hindi pala either, 40 yung pwede nating gamiting distansya dyan. Okay? Pero pag upright, we always use 72. Always recommended mas mataas or mas malayong distance. Okay? So that you increase your detail better. Okay? Nababawasan kasi yung unsharpness or yung penumbra when you increase your SID. So one more. Ayan ha. OID naman tayo. Object to image receptor distance. When we increase our OID, okay, dahil nag-increase ka ng OID, actually, bumababa din naman yung ating detail. Ayan. So nagkakaroon, So nagkakaroon tayo ngayon ng lesser detail on our images. Ma'am Isa, bakit po? Okay, so for example, ito yung ating patient. Okay, ito yung patient natin. Ito yung ating image receptor. Okay, IR natin, lagay natin dito. As you can see, you have this definite or this very wide gap between the patient and the IR. This is now your OID, di ba? So when you have an increase in OID, yung ating penumbra, ayan, okay, yung ating penumbra na nanggagaling dun sa, hindi ko ma-perfect ha, pasensya na kayo. So yung ating penumbra na nanggagaling dun sa gilid actually also increases. Okay? Kaya nangyayari, pumapangit or bumababa yung ating detail. Okay? Nag-i-increase ka dito ng unsharpness. Okay? Unsharpness. So again, when you have, okay, your SID, increase in SID gives you increase in detail. Pero pag increase ng OID, anong ibibigay sa'yo? Decrease in detail. Okay? So later, sasagutan natin siya. Meron akong pinrepare sa inyo for table or summary. Okay? Next, punta tayo with your motion. Okay? So any kind of motion, okay? Either ang ating source is the time of exposure, masyadong matagal yung time of exposure natin, gumalaw si patient, or dumulas ang ating IR from its proper placement, any kind of motion would actually give your detail, o yan ha, unsharpness. So kahit anong klase ng motion dyan would give you lower detail. Okay? Detail, mas bababa siya. Bakit? Kasi magkakaroon tayo ngayon ng presence of blurring. Nagkakaroon siya ng kakaibang sinasaniban yung ballpen ko. Ayan. So any kind of motion gives your detail, ayan, na mababang evaluation or unsharpness. Kasi nagkakaroon tayo ng presence of blurring. Sorry. Kakaroon kasi tayo ng presence of blurring. Kaya as much as possible, when we try to tawag nito, radiograph, or when we try to image pediatric patients, lalo na sila kasi uncooperative sila, anong ginagawa natin doon sa ating time of exposure? Mas binababaan natin or mas iniiksian natin siya para mabilis lang. Okay? So any kind of motion will give you lesser detail and resulting to blurring. Ayan. Next, punta tayo ngayon with your distortion. Okay, so pagka sinabi natin na distortion, this is the change in the shape or size of your images. So mula dun sa actual, nagkaroon ng pagbabago pagdating dun sa ating radiographic images. Either humaba or umiksi. Okay? So, or lumaki or lumiit. Ayan. So, unahin natin si size distortion. So, pagka sinabi natin na size distortion, it is also synonymous with the term magnification. Okay? To magnify. Lumalaki kasi siya eh. Guys, wala tayo sa ating IPE na lumiliit magnification. Wala, lahat yun palaki. Kasi at some point nagkakaroon tayo ng OID. Okay? Yung distansya, kumbaga between the patient and the IR itself. So nagkakaroon tayo ng magnification. So it can be, ayan ha, reduce, but it won't be eliminated. Total elimination is not possible. Okay? So reduction lang tayo. So puntahan natin, what are those two factors which affects your size distortion or magnification? We have your OID and your SID. Ito lang tatandaan. Parang katulad ng pag naglalaro ka, okay, sa bahay, kapag ka walang ilaw, so you have your flashlight and your hand and the wall. Okay? So when we have an increase in your OID, lumalayo yung ating object doon sa ating image receptor, nagkakaroon tayo ng increase in your magnification. Okay? So therefore, nagkakaroon ka ng distorted image kasi lumalaki siya eh. So there is magnification. Okay? So increase in OID, increase magnification. Next, punta tayo ngayon with your SID. Ayan. Ang pwede nating gamitin kung hindi mo talaga maiiwasan na magkaroon ng increase in OID, adjust ka ngayon sa SID. Lalo mo ngayong layuan yung iyong X-ray tube. Okay? So ang gagawin natin ngayon, for example, okay, increase tayo ng ating SID. Ano mangyayari sa ating distortion? Bababa ngayon yung ating magnification. Okay? Bakit po? It equalizes yung pagmamagnify from your OID. That's why as much as possible, if you have yung examinations for the cervical region, ang ginagawa natin, hindi yan naka 40 inch, hindi yan naka 36 inches na SID. Lagi yan 72. Okay? Inch na SID. Para correct or para hindi siya masyadong magkaroon ng magnification. So again, increase in OID, increase in magnification. Pero pagdating kay SID, baliktad naman siya, increase in SID, decrease in magnification. Okay? Between the two, sino ang mas, ayan ha, malaki ang effect when it comes to distortion? It's actually OID. Okay? OID. Mas magrabe, mas okay. Mas grabe yung effect ng OID pagkadating sa ating distortion. Konting adjustment lang or separation ng object to image receptor distance, you can actually see the difference when it comes to its size. Okay? The actual size difference mula dun sa radiographic size. Okay? Next, punta tayo with your shape distortion. Okay. Kahit alin dyan, subangulation, nagkaroon ka ngayon ng 30 degrees cephalad or 30 degrees caudad angulation, magkakaroon ka pa rin ng distortion. Image receptor angulation, medyo inangulate mo lang yung IR mo ng 15 degrees, meron pa ring distortion yan. yung iyong, ayan ha, yung inyong part to be x-rayed, nagbigay ka ng angulation. So from AP, okay, or PA, ginawa mo ngayon siyang oblique. Okay? Nagbigay ka ngayon ng oblique position, that would actually give you again distortion. So pagka sinabi natin na shape distortion, either or lang naman silang dalawa. Either, okay, we have your foreshortening, na kung saan yung image natin, okay, foreshortening, lumiliit siya pagdating doon sa ating radiographic image. Okay? So, it shortens the radiographic image. Pagka sinabi natin ngayon na elongation, yung isang klase ng ating shape distortion, okay, lagyan natin dito, elongation, ibig sabihin lang neto, humahaba siya. Okay? So anything from tube angulation, image receptor angulation, part angulation, nagkakaroon ka netong lahat ng ito, magkakaroon ka ng distortion. Particularly, shape distortion. Okay? Either or, ayan, foreshortening, umiiksi yung images natin on the radiograph, or elongation, humahaba siya on the radiograph. Ma'am Isa, ang daldal mo naman, pwedeng ibigay mo na sa amin yung summary. Yes, ibibigay ko sa inyo. So I have prepared something for you. It's a table summary. Kung magpe-prepare na kayo for the board exam, ngayon pa lang, pwede na kayong gumawa ng sarili nyo na matrix or sarili nyo na table. Okay? Sagutan nyo, i-exercise nyo siya. So ang gagawin natin, we have these different factors, okay, on this side. And then we will identify what will happen, okay, to the density, to the contrast, detail, or distortion kapag nagkaroon tayo ng change in this factor. Okay? So we have number 1, ayan ha. As a summary, ito lang. Tingnan natin. Increase in MAS. What will happen to our density? Increase, decrease, or no effect? Ayan lang naman ang mga pagpipilian natin. Increase, decrease, or no effect. NE tayo pag no effect. Ayan. Okay. So guys, kailangan ko ng tulong nyo dito. Okay? So review lang naman tayo. Ayan. Increase MAS. What will happen to our density? Increase, decrease. Pwedeng mag-unmute.
Increase po. Increase, ma'am. Increase po.
Good. How? Increase. Yes. Okay. Sige po. Increase in MAS, increase in density tayo. Very good. How about contrast? Increase, decrease, no effect. Okay. No effect. Maraming salamat.
No effect po.
Good. Next, detail. Increase, decrease, no effect.
Increase.
So,
actually, ang correct answer natin is very good. No effect. Very good. No effect. So, pag naghahanap ng detail, wag nyo nang titignan yung MAS. Panggulo lang yan. Next, distortion. Okay. Increase, decrease, no effect.
No effect.
no effect.
No effect. Very good. Okay. So, ang meron lang is density. Next, KVP tayo. Okay. What will happen to our density if we increase our KVP? Increase, decrease, no effect?
Decrease.
Increase. Increase. Increase.
Increase.
Okay. Yes,
Decrease,
very good. Okay, magkakaroon pa rin tayo ng increase in our density. Increase, very good. Although hindi sila direct, okay, relationship, it only influences. Okay, it always still follows your 15% KVP ruling. Okay, next, we have your contrast. Increase, decrease, no effect.
Decrease. Decrease.
Decrease. Very good. Kasi inverse ang kanilang relationship. Okay. Nagbibigayan. Ayan, next. So we have your KVP for detail. Increase, decrease, no effect?
No effect.
No effect.
No effect. Very good. Wala pa ring epekto sa kanya ang KVP. How about distortion? Siyempre, alam na natin ang sagot. It will be no effect pa rin.
No effect.
Okay.
No effect.
Manhit. Okay, very good. Next, punta tayo ngayon with your SID. What will happen to our density, contrast, and detail and distortion if we increase our SID? Okay, increase SID, what will happen to our density? Increase, decrease, no effect?
Decrease.
Uy, increase ka ng SID ha, lumalayo yung
Decrease.
X-ray tube. Very good. Decrease. Okay. Mag-decrease tayo ha. Di-decrease. Okay.
Increase.
Ang hirap sumulat ng aking ballpen. Decrease. Ayan. Increase kasi ng SID, okay? Lumalayo yung ating X-ray tube mula dun sa ating IR. So therefore, konting X-ray photons ang decrease. Umaabot sa ating film. Kaya decrease ang density level. Okay, next. How about contrast? Sa tingin nyo, magkakaroon ba tayo ng effect sa contrast kahit papaano?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, kahit papaano
No
magkakaroon
effect.
ng effect. Ha? Ano yun? Anong effect yun? No effect. Okay. So actually, sa SID, very minimal siya. However, in some of your books, okay, some of your books, hindi nila nire-regard. Okay. In other books, ang ginagawa nila, SID, okay, contrast, may ibang libro. Pasensya na kayo, hahati kasi. Kasi may lumang libro, may bagong libro. Kung mababasa ninyo, magkaiba sila ng sasabihin. Okay? In other books, very, very old, okay, SID can still give you an increase in contrast. In other, hindi na nila sinasama. No effect na siya. Okay? No effect na siya.
No effect.
Bakit ganun? Ang hirap magsulat ng aking ballpen. Ayan. Okay? Yung ibang libro, pag nabasa niyo, baka yung iba kasi may makabasa na, Ma'am Isa, ba't dito sa book na to? Kasi yung ibang libro na nababasa natin, very old references, can still add to the contrast. Yung iba na, bago, no effect na siya. Okay? How about detail? Increase in SID, increase, decrease, or no effect?
Increase.
Increase. Very good. Habang lumalayo ang SID, gumaganda ang ating detail. How about your distortion? Tumataas o bumababa ang distortion? Sinabi ko na, dalawa ng pagpipilian niyo. Decrease. Very good.
Decrease po. Decrease,
Kasi, ano po yun? Distortion So, nagkakaroon ka ng distorted images. Okay? So, pag nag-increase ka ng SID, okay, distortion, bumababa siya. Okay? Bumababa bumababa. Bumababa ang SID tuloy. Bumababa ang distortion. Okay? Next. Ma'am Isa, paano kung OID naman? Object to image receptor distance. Anong pwedeng mangyari sa density level ko? Pwede pa rin po ba siya magkaroon ng effect? Yes or no? Yes. Pwede.
Yes.
Si air gap technique, 'di ba? 'Di ba si air gap technique has something to do as well with your density and your contrast. Okay? So, pag nag-increase tayo ng OID, lesser ang X-ray photons na umaabot sa ating film, therefore, bumababa ang density level natin. Okay? Pababa pababa. Ma'am Isa, paano pagka-contrast naman? Dahil mataas ang OID, nababawasan ang ating mga, scattered radiation, tumataas ang ating contrast. Lalo siyang gumaganda. Okay? Ma'am Isa, sunod. Paano kung halimbawa magkaroon po tayo ngayon ng increase in OID, ano magiging effect niya ngayon sa detail? Alam niyo na. Pag sa detail, nagkakaroon ngayon siya ng increase or decrease? Gumaganda ba siya or pumapangit? Di ba? Ang nangyayari sa kanya, nagdi-decrease ngayon.
Decrease.
Very good. Okay. Next, distortion o size distortion tayo. Okay? Increase ang distortion natin. Very good. Next, patient thickness. Tingnan natin. Density level, patient thickness, what will happen? Increase or decrease?
Increase, ma'am.
Ha? Increase or decrease?
Decrease.
Decrease. Photons ang ma-attenuate or ang ma-absorb ng mas makakapal, okay, na pasyente natin. Kaya ang mangyayari, if you have increase in patient thickness, mas bumababa ngayon ang density sa film. Okay? Kasi nakakain siya ng patient. Or hindi pala nakakain. Na-absorb at saka na-attenuate siya ng ating patient. Okay, ngayon, increase in patient thickness, what will happen to your contrast? Mas maraming layers ang nagkakaroon ng attenuation or maraming layers ng skin, hindi layers ng skin, layers ng patient ang possible na mag-attenuate sa ating X-ray beam. What do you think will happen to your contrast? Increase patient thickness? Mag-i-increase ba ang contrast natin or magdi-decrease ang contrast natin?
Decrease.
Decrease. Very good. Nagdi-decrease siya. Okay. So, pagdating sa detail, okay, ilalagay na natin dyan. Ako na maglalagay. Okay. NE na agad yan. Okay. NE na rin yan. Ma'am Isa. Yes. Okay. So, next. Punta tayo ngayon sa contrast media. Guys, sorry. Increase contrast media nakalagay ko dyan. Lagyan ko na lang siya ng positive contrast media. Okay. Positive contrast media, what will happen to our density level? Increase, decrease, no effect. Decrease.
Increase po.
Okay. Bakit? Ha? Positive yung contrast media natin ha. So ibig sabihin, these are your barium sulfate, iodine. Di ba pag in-X-ray natin sila, anong kulay or anong appearance nila pagdating sa radiograph? White, di ba? So therefore, nagdi-decrease ka ng blackening of the film. Kaya decrease ang sagot natin. Okay? But since we have your contrast, ayan, any kind of contrast media, positive yan or negative yan, basta binigyan mo ng contrast media ang patient, anong mangyayari sa contrast ng ating film? It will increase. Very good. Pataas. Okay? Next. Detail. Ay, bakit ganun? Pumunta na siya sa kabilang side. Okay. Detail and distortion. Ako nang sasagot. NE. Okay. NE. Very good. Sige. Punta tayo ngayon sa additive pathology. Okay. Kung naalala nyo kanina, ang mga additive pathology, nagdadagdag siya ng tissue density sa ating katawan. So katulad ng may mga patient na may pleural effusion, may mga tumor sa katawan, okay, dumadagdag yung kanyang tissue density. Therefore, ayan, pasigaw, feel na feel. Okay, therefore, what will happen to our density level?
Decrease.
Increase, decrease.
Decrease po.
Very good. Decrease, very good. Okay, so dahil dyan, meron kang additive pathology, what do you think will happen to your contrast? Increase, decrease, or no effect? Uy, napapaisip sila. Decrease. Kasi magkakaroon ka ng mas madaming shades of gray. Kasi 'di ba habang kumakapal yung tissue, 'di ba mas marami siyang tinatraverse na layers of fat. Mas na-attenuate siya. Okay? Next, dahil diyan, ako na rin ang sasagot. Okay? Detail and distortion, huwag niyong lagyan. Okay? No effect tayo, no effect tayo. Okay? Next table tayo with destructive pathology. Ito naman, kinakain yung laman. Okay? So since kinakain ng laman, what will happen to your density? Increase or decrease?
Increase.
Increase.
Yes po.
Decrease. Pababa naman siya. Ay, sorry. Akong mali. Ma'am Isa, mali ka. Okay, sorry na. Okay, decrease. Okay. Mali yun ha. Hindi yun na nakasagot. Sorry. Destructive pathology, kinakain ng laman. So therefore, magkakaroon ka ngayon ng lesser tissues to traverse, increase in density level. Noise. Okay, next. Contrast. How about contrast? Siyempre, ang mangyari sa kanya, mas kita mo na ngayon ng itim sa puti. Therefore, you will have increase. Ha? Increase in contrast. Kitang-kita ang puti sa itim. Okay? Next, ako na sasagot. NE, ang paborito ni Ma'am Isa. NE para sa no effect. Okay? Next, development time, development temperature, development activity. Etong lahat to, okay? Ayan. For density level, increase in development time, increase in density. Okay? Isasagot ko na to ha, isang buong to. Increase in development temperature. Ano mangyayari sa density level natin? Increase, decrease?
Increase.
Increase din. Very good. Okay. taas. Next, development activity. Kung bago ba siya or luma siya. Increase in a development activity, what will happen to our density? Increase, decrease? Siyempre, pag mas bago, mas matapang. Siyempre, pag mas matapang, mas maitim ang budhi. De, joke lang. So, mas maitim. Okay? Increase. Nice. Okay. So, dahil dyan, punta na tayo with your contrast. Okay. Development time, development temperature, development activity. Pag sobra-sobra sila, sobrang taas nila, ang nangyayari sa contrast natin, lalo ngayon siyang umiitim. Okay. However, ang problem dito, it adds up fogging. Okay. Ang dinadagdag niya ay fog. Therefore, when you have the presence of fog with the increase of development time, development temperature, and activity, what do you think will happen to your contrast? Increase or decrease?
Decrease. Increase.
Decrease. Decrease. Kasi dadami yung fog, dadami yung shades of gray. So, okay, bababa ngayon ang kanyang contrast. Okay? So, dito sa detail, wala na tayong isasagot dyan. Ang paboritong sagot ni Ma'am Isa, NE. Okay? No effect, no effect. Lumilipat siya mag-isa, guys. Ayan. NE, NE. Para di na kayo malito. Kasi yan lang naman ang halos titignan natin. Okay? NE, NE. Okay? Nahuhuli yung aking pagsusulat. Okay, next. Punta tayo with grid ratio. Okay, grid ratio, density, increase in grid ratio, what will happen to your density level? Increase, decrease, no effect.
Decrease po.
Decrease in density. Very good. Pero pagdating kay contrast, ano mangyayari sa kanya? Increase o decrease?
Mag-i-increase po. Increase po.
Mag-i-increase. Very good. Kasi nababawasan ngayon siya ng scattered radiation. Dito sa detail and distortion, ako lang magsusulat. NE. Ma'am Isa, paborito mo to. NE. No effect. Okay, next. Filter. Naglagay tayo ng filter. What do you think will happen with your density? Tataas, bababa?
Bababa.
Bababa, very good. Mababawasan ka dito ng low energy photons. Mababawasan ka ng additional density. Punta tayo with contrast. Additional filter, what will happen to contrast? Increase, decrease?
Increase po. Increase.
Increase. Very good. Okay. Ako ulit ang magsasagot. No effect. No effect. Ako ulit ang magsasagot. No effect. No effect. Galing ni Ma'am Isa. Yeah, next. Presence of fog in density, what do you think will happen? It will increase or decrease? Increase. Very good.
Increase.
Dahil may presence ng fog, anong mangyayari sa contrast natin? Increase o decrease?
Decrease.
Decrease. Very good. Okay. So ito na yung summary natin on the second page. Last page tayo. Okay na ba kayo? Proceed na tayo, ha?
Opo, ma'am.
Okay. Ay, bakit may sulat? Patanggal dito may sulat. Okay, tanggalin ko lang yung sulat nito. Okay. Sige. Next, punta tayo with your FOV, field of view. Okay, FSS. Yan yung focus spot size natin, ha? Screen speed, film speed. Alam ko hindi ko siya natakal pero dito itatakal natin siya. Tube angulation, increased collimation, and presence of motion. Okay. Punta tayo with your density level. FOV. Pag nilakihan natin ang field of view, what will happen to your density? Increase, decrease?
Increase.
Increase. Very good. What will happen to your contrast? Increase o decrease?
Decrease po.
Decrease. Very good. Kasi mas dumadami yung scattered radiation. Okay, next. Detail and distortion, ako nang bahala dyan. NE lahat yan. Okay. NE yan. Okay, next. Punta tayo ngayon with FSS. Large focal spot size. Kasi naka-increase tayo eh. So what will happen to your density? Increase, decrease, or no effect? Sige, ako na rin sasagot. Ang paborito kong sagot, no effect. Very good. Siyempre, no effect ka na doon sa density. Ano sa tingin mo sa contrast? Siyempre, no effect. Okay. Sige po, meron akong tsuari wap sa likod. Okay. Next, punta tayo sa detail. Detail. Increase, decrease, no effect.
Decrease po.
Decrease po. Very good. How about distortion? May effect ba siya or wala?
No effect.
No effect.
Okay, good. Next, punta tayo na with your screen speed. Okay. So guys, maaaring sabihin nyo, Ma'am Isa, hindi nyo naman po ito diniscuss sa amin eh. Sama natin siya dito sa summary. Okay. Anything to do with the screen speed and film speed are almost the same. Okay? Halos pareha sila. Lagi yung tatandaan, mas mabilis ang processing ng inyong screen speed at ng film speed, mas tumataas ang inyong density level. Okay? Again ha, kapag screen speed and film speed mabilis, tumataas. Okay? Mas tumataas din ang inyong density level. Okay? Dito tayo magkakatalo. Ayan. Kasi meron tayong old references, nagkaiba sila, and new references again. Okay? Sa contrast, ang screen speed at film speed in old books na meron tayo, tumataas din siya. Okay? So, nag-increase contrast. However, kina Fauber, yung mga recent na mga books natin, no effect na siya. Okay? And again, mamisa sa namin yung magagamit. Well, product pa kasi kayo ng mix ng old and new curriculum. So that's why we are still anticipating maaring isama pa rin yung old, okay, mula dun sa new curriculum. Okay? So again, we have the contrast sa old curriculum, okay? Sa mga old books pala, screen speed, film speed, pag tumataas, tataas din ang contrast, pero sa mga bagong references, no effect na siya. Okay? Ma'am Isa, how about sa detail and distortion? Okay. Pag mas mabilis ang screen speed, mas mabilis din ang film speed. Okay? Dahil mabilis yung processing nila, nagkakaroon sila ng screen unsharpness. Okay? Screen unsharpness. So therefore, tumataas ang screen speed. Ano nangyari sa detail? Bumababa. Tumataas ang film speed. Ano nangyari sa detail? Bumababa.
Bababa.
Okay? Yes. Pero ang distortion, sabi ko nga sa inyo, akong bahala dyan. No effect. Okay? No effect. Okay? Uy, ba't nagka-practice questions na? Di pa tayo tapos. Yan. Next. Punta tayo ngayon sa tube angulation. Okay, tube angulation lang tayo ha. So either 15 degrees, inangulate natin yung X-ray tube, or 20 degrees or 30 degrees. Once we use a tube angulation, what do you think will happen to your density? O, ayan. Sa mga libro ninyo, minsan hindi siya sinasama. Pero, okay, old references would actually give you increase in tube angulation, decrease in density level. Hala, Ma'am Isa, paano nangyari yun? Kasi pag nag-increase ka daw ng tube angulation, nagkakaroon ka ngayon ng increase ng SID. That is the reason. So when you have an increase in SID, di ba, magka-inverse ang kanilang relationship. Okay? So pag tumataas ang SID, bababa ang ating density level. So increase in tube angulation, decrease in density. Ma'am Isa, paano yung contrast? Okay, anong gagawin natin? No effect. Okay? Detail. Okay, anong gagawin natin? Meron bang kinalaman ng tube angulation sa detail? No effect mo na yan. Okay? Ma'am Isa, how about distortion? Possible? Does it have any kind of relationship? Yes. Increase or decrease?
Increase.
Increase
okay,
po, increase.
Din ng
Increase po.
distortion. Very good. Thank you so much, Sir Daniel Escobar. Okay. Nakikita ko na yung pangalan niya. Okay, next. Animation. Okay, pag sinabi natin na collimation, okay? We collimate, we tend to have a smaller FOV. Okay? So, babawasan natin ngayon ang ating FOV kasi tataasan natin ang ating collimation. Okay? Dahil mababa ngayon ang ating FOV, what do you think will happen with our density level? Increase or decrease?
Increase po. Increase po.
Are you sure? Ha?
Decrease
It
po.
will
Ay, decrease po. Decrease.
Kasi mas nililiitan mo siya.
Tama.
Correct. Okay. Dahil dyan, anong mangyayari sa ating contrast? Siyempre, mas nililiitan mo, mas lumiliit yung FOV. Ano mangyayari sa contrast mo? Taas, baba?
Increase po. Increase po.
Increase. Very good.
Increase.
Increase. Very good. Okay, next. Detail and distortion. Akong bahala dyan. No.
No effect, ma'am. No effect.
No effect. Very good. Thank you. Okay, last but not the least, ang laging kalaban ng mga Radtech na lagi nating sinasabi as an excuse para makapag-repeat examination tayo sa mga pasyente natin na matitigas ang ulo. Okay, we have motion. What do you think will happen? Okay, sa ating density? Increase, decrease, no effect. Ako na nagsasabi. Anong tamang sagot?
No effect.
Okay, no effect. How about contrast? No effect. Very good. Pero sa detail, anong pwedeng mangyari?
Decrease po.
Decrease. Very good. How about distortion? Akong bala dyan. Anong tawag sagot?
No effect.
Very good. Okay. So dahil dyan, alam kong hots na kayo. Okay. Magpa-practice questions tayo. Okay. So, meron tayong 5 questions lang dito. Pa-practicein natin siya in a way na parang hindi ko alam, okay? Hindi ko alam kung ma-appreciate nyo siya o maiinis lang kayo lalo sa akin. But may practice questions. Okay. Pero sana makatulong to sa inyo. Okay, we have 5. Let's start first. O yan, number 1. So, of the following groups of your technical factors, which of the following will produce the greatest na radiographic density? Okay? Ay, bakit lumipat na siya? Ayan. Which of the following do you think will produce the greatest radiographic density level? Okay. So, mamimili tayo, okay, within this factors kung sino sa tingin natin ang magpo-produce ng increased density. Okay. Increased density. Unang tanong, sino ang controlling factor ng ating density? It is your MAS. Ba't lumilipat siya? Sorry, ako may problema. Ayan. MAS. Okay? Dahil dyan, tanggalin natin ang dalawang obvious na maling sagot. Okay? Sorry, gumagalaw siya. Ayan. So, sinong tatanggalin natin? Dalawang 5 MAS. Tanggal agad yan. So, sino na lang ang titignan mo? Letter A and letter B. Okay, next. Sino ang sunod na titignan? KVP. Kaso lang, ma'am, isa pa yan. Parehas na naman sila. Yes. Kaya ang sunod mong titignan dyan ay SID. Okay. Sabi nga natin, sino ang mas tamang sagot? Okay ha? Letter A, 44-inch SID or letter B, 36-inch SID. Sino magbibigay dyan ng pinakamataas na density level? Yung pinakamalayo ba o yung pinakamalapit na SID? It is letter? Malapit. O letter? B. Okay. So correct answer natin.
Opo.
Bravo. Okay.
Bravo.
Pinakamalapit.
Opo. Yeah.
Bravo.
Yes.
Okay, next. Thank you. Kala mo naman ako yung inaano. Okay, next. Number 2. Which of the following groups of exposure factors will produce the longest scale of contrast? Okay. Sinong tatanggalin natin dyan na hindi natin kakailanganin? Tanggal ang MA. May effect ba siya sa contrast natin? Yes or no? Wala, di ba? So, tanggal ang MA. How about seconds? May effect ba siya sa contrast natin? Wala. So,
Meron po.
Ha? Second. Contrast, scale of contrast. Wala. Ang titingnan na lang natin ay KVP. Okay? At saka yung grid natin. Yan, nababoy-baboy na. Yun, nangyari sa ballpen ko. Okay. So dahil dyan, titingnan natin kung ang hinahanap natin is the, wait lang, tatabi ko lang to. Okay. So kung ang hinahanap natin dyan is hindi ko makita yung question ko, pati ako yung question ko, hindi ko makita. Wait lang. Oops. Hindi ko maitabi itong screen. Ayan, longest scale of contrast. So, ibig sabihin, may pinaka mababang contrast. Okay? So, pagka sinabi natin na mababang contrast, primary controlling factor natin dyan would be KVP. Inverse ang kanilang relationship. Therefore, increase KVP, decrease in contrast. Kasi longest contrast or longest scale of contrast ang ibibigay natin or ang kailangan natin. So dahil longest scale of contrast ang kailangan natin dyan ay yung nagbibigay lang ng mababang contrast. At sino makakapagbigay sa atin dyan ng mababang contrast? It is the highest KVP and the lowest. Okay? Sino ngayon dyan ang tamang sagot natin? O, tanggal na natin ang letter A. Tanggal na rin natin ang letter D kasi 70, 70. Between the two, 80 and 90. Who do you think will give you? Ayan. The lowest contrast possible. It is letter
C.
Matutupa.
C, ma'am.
C.
Ma'am,
C. Very good. 90 kVP, yes. And then lowest grid ratio, 8:1 na grid. Nice, nice, nice. Okay, next. Number 3, which of the following is unrelated? Unrelated ang hinahanap natin dito, yung wapakels. Okay, doon sa ating recorded detail. Na kahit gawin natin siya, walang magbabago dun sa ating recorded detail. Okay, letter A. Using a pigostat for pediatric chest radiography. Ano ba ang pigostat? This is a device
Mobilization.
used for immobilization. So para hindi magalaw yung pasyente. So therefore, may effect ba ito sa ating detail? Letter A, yes or no?
No,
Yes
ma'am.
po.
Okay. May effect siya. Blah, yeah, ha. Okay. May effect siya. Related siya sa ating detail. Kaya ang letter A, hindi yan ang hinahanap nating sagot. Okay, next. Letter B. Increase amount of X-ray photons produced. Do you think this number of X-ray photons has something to do with our recorded detail? Yes or no?
Yes.
Or next? Yay! Do you think may relation ba siya? No, di ba? No. Kasi ang amount of your X-ray photons produced can only, affect or only has an effect with your density, okay, and your contrast. Okay? Silang dalawa lang. So therefore, correct answer natin for number 3 would be letter B. Okay, Ma'am Isa, check mo nga muna natin. Letter C, bakit hindi po yan yung tamang sagot natin? Sabi kasi dito, distance of your X-ray tube to the object and to the film. So therefore, we are talking about OID and your SID. Ang OID at SID, meron ba siyang relationship sa inyong recorded detail? Meron ba? Yes or no? Yes. 'Di ba? Meron siyang relationship. So hindi yan yung hinahanap nating tamang sagot. Letter D, using a large focal spot size. Oh, sinabi na. Ang large focal spot size, does it has something to do or does it affect your recorded detail? Yes or no? Yes, 'di ba? Pag large ang focal spot size, bumababa ang ating detail. Okay. So hindi yan ang tamang sagot. That's why we arrived to the correct answer of letter B. Bravo. Okay. Next, number 4. Which of the following sets of exposure factors will produce the radiograph, sorry for my dogs, will produce the radiograph with the poorest recorded detail? Okay, pinakamababang recorded detail. So, ano ba yung mga maaaring ayan ha, baba ng ating recorded detail. So, mababang detail can only be given by your FSS. Okay, na kung saan mataas o malaking focal spot size. Then, for the OID, kailangan mataas din ang ating OID. Okay. Next, pwede rin maka-effect sa atin ng ating SID. Okay. Kailangan mababang SID. So, yan yung mga factors na hanapin natin. Okay. May kinalaman ba ang MAS? Sa detail. Wala. Tanggalin. Huwag niyong
Wala.
titignan yan. Sunod. KVP, may kinalaman ba sa ating detail? Wala. Tanggalin natin yan. Okay. Sunod. SID and OID. Okay. Pagka tinignan mo siya, hala, Ma'am Isa, yung OID lahat 4. Pwede ko na ba siyang tanggalin sa choices ko? Oo, kasi wala nang pinagkaiba yan. So, tanggal. Sino na lang ang titignan natin? SID. Sa kanilang 20-inch SID. Therefore, correct answer natin for number 4 ay letter C. Okay? Pinakamababang SID, pinaka-poor ang recorded detail. Okay? Naintindihan po ba? Okay naman? Kahit papano?
Yes.
Iraraos. Okay, next. Number 5. Okay. Last. Sige, thank you. Last number. Ayan. If the radiographer is unable to achieve a short OID because of the structure of the body part or patient condition, which of the following adjustments can be made to minimize your magnification distortion? Okay, letter A daw, gumamit ng smaller focal spot size. Does your smaller focal spot size remedy or put a resolve dun sa ating problem? Yes or no?
No po.
No. So, X agad yan.
No po.
Huwag mo nang babalikan. Next, letter B. A longer SID should be used. Possible? Can this be our answer?
Yes po.
Yeah.
Apo.
Yes. Okay. Bam Isa. Anong Bam Isa? Sino si Bam? Okay, Ma'am Isa. Bakit ang letter C? Hindi po natin ginamit. Faster IS should be used. No, I'm so sorry. This is for detail. Can affect your detail. Okay. Pero not for distortion. Lower grid ratio. I'm so sorry also. It can only affect, okay, your density. Okay. And your contrast. So therefore, tama pa rin ang choice natin, letter B. Okay. Longer SID. So I think that's it. It ends my free lecture. Hopefully there's something that you've learned from it kahit na ang gulo-gulo ko at saka sumasabay sa atin ang aso ko.